Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is another session of Star Trek Adventures. We are on our second mission of this series of Star Trek Tempest. And characters can reset their determination, they can clear their stress. I went through and cleared out leftover traits on the character keeper from last time. We can get all that stuff back. So we finished off our first episode of this second half of the season slash series, and we are on to a new one this time. This one, I've given the players and characters a little bit of background ahead of time about what the situation is. I've also given Captain Ascara the captain's log ahead of time. This is, uh, I think, as I'm imagining a little bit more like a next generation episode in terms of structure, because Star Trek original series very much here's our story. We go through sometimes there are B plots, but it's go through. Next Generation often had more ensemble episodes. I think this probably is going to be an ensemble episode. Try to give something for everyone to do. Uh, uh, Taven and Chivilic have pretty clear goals. Captain Ascara has some clear starting goals. Tony, it's going to be like you choosing what you want to be doing because there's some really cool things you can be doing, and we'll talk about what particular rope you want to pick up and tow on for that, and we'll talk about that. Uh, this is part of the Open Hearth Gaming Community, which is an online gaming club slash community. I had a nice thing today when I got a Kickstarter arrived, and I saw that we were thanked in the back of it. I love it when I see that. That makes me happy when people do that and say nice things about us. So this pleases me. Also found out today that the French translation of Hearts of Berlin was nominated for an Indie Game Award, apparently. So that's also nice to see. Kelrin, the French publisher and translator, did an amazing job with it. So that's just me tooting my own horn. We take up with a shot of the Tempest. Again, remember, we're a Constitution class ship like the Enterprise. We're in orbit. We've got that lovely background, a beautiful shot. It is a Class M planet down below. We can see from space that it is definitely strongly water covered, definitely primarily oceanic, but we can see some places where there are some land masses there. But also, the team has spent some time with the digital effects, and we can see in the sort of the background there are a variety of broken ships in orbit, debris and broken ships. They've gotten a chance. They said to the people, "Hey, these are new ships. Give us new designs." So we see some ships we've never seen before on screen. We also see like an Andorian ship. We can recognize that design. And a proto version of the Talarian ship. They won't come on until next generation, but we got that design, so we can see all that in there, and that's our sort of outside shot of that. And we cut to our captain's log.
Captain's log, stardate 2272. The Tempest has arrived at Polos 5, where vessels from multiple worlds have only recently been freed from the grasp of an unknown alien entity after decades in captivity. Survivors from those ships have established a fragile colony on the planet's surface. That fragile peace is beginning to fracture. Old rivalries are resurfacing, compounded by a range of medical complications from prolonged confinement. Commander Chivilic is overseeing diplomatic efforts, while Lieutenant Commander Tavin works to stabilize the growing health crisis. In orbit, the Tempest has begun the difficult task of sorting through the debris field, determining what can be salvaged, what must be towed or destroyed. Among the wreckage is the Mengzhou, an Earth vessel dating back to the NX program. I've just welcomed her captain, Jonas Belasco, aboard. For him, the war is long over. The Federation he knew is something else entirely now. Helping him find his place in this century may prove as delicate a task as anything waiting for us down below.
And I think we take up, as that is going over, we see you in the transporter room. There is the transporter chief is operating the controls there. That's McClanahan. Uh, uh, are you in standard uniform or dress uniform, Captain Ascara?
Uh, Dress uniform, but I've replaced the insignia of rank with something stylized to be more a century ago version.
Okay, a little color stripe on that
Yeah.
difference. And we know that Taven and Chivilic are, on duties on planet. Is Moreno with you right now, or do you have somebody else with you, Escara, or is it just you greeting this onboarding captain?
As a captain, I definitely have Tony with me, but Chivilik and Vin are busy, so I think it's just the two of us.
Okay. Tony, are you in dress uniform?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we see the transporter. We've got the transporter effect for this series come up, and we will see this figure materialize. They are in the jumper uniform of the Enterprise series, the original, the oldest of the series. Uh, is an old man, gray hair, beard, kind of weathered features. He is looking around. The transporter, as you know, is completely new tech to him. And so when he transport in, there is a moment of him looking at his hands and looking up at you and trying to pull himself together.
I give him a beat to settle, no reaction whatsoever, not quirking an eyebrow, nothing. I want to give him the full respect of reacting to that. Captain Belasco, Captain Ascara.
Uh,
This is
uh,
my number one, Commander Moreno.
permission to come aboard, Captain.
Of course, welcome aboard.
And he kind of steps off the pad and he's like, when uh your people on the surface informed me that we had teleportation technology, matter transmission technology, uh, I, 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 and he kind of trails off.
Takes a little getting used to.
Um, yes, well, I would love to see as much as I can of the ship and then maybe answer some questions for you and we can talk about things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, come, I'd like to show you a few spots on the Tempest, and then we can get you to your quarters.
Okay. As you're doing the kind of walk and talk, anything that you are saying to him, anything that you want to know, that you want to get in sort of like the conversation that we overhear?
Of course, we hear the boilerplate. I am extolling the virtues of the Tempest to a dignitary type of thing. It's rote, although Ascara does it with verve. But he does at one point uh, pivot to say, uh, Captain Belasco, the Mengzhou, I did a bit of research. I believe that I may have a distant relative who served there briefly.
Who?
Uh, Her name was Sil, Sil Ascara.
Venusian. Moved on to do engineering research. They were going to help with the setting up of the new Martian shipyards.
Absolutely. Wow, this is amazing. I've seen a good number of pictures of her, some videos, but
It
anything you can
was
share.
it was a great loss to the Mengzhou when she decided to shift to that. I mean, good engineers, as you know, are hard to come by, especially those who have understanding of the warp infusion systems and so on. Uh, I know that they were starting to work on refitting the Intrepid class, and she was part of that.
She was. She ended on with a pretty illustrious career. I have to say, a lot of my success I owe to what I've learned from watching her progress and reading about it. It's an honor to have you among us, sir.
Uh, Thank you, thank you. And Tony, what do we see of your interaction, your reaction to this?
I think she's like just very buttoned down, letting Ed take the lead on this, just doing the walk along and answering any questions that he might have as well.
And he will end with, coming onto the bridge, and I think he is shocked at the size and the approach of it, and he will say, this is quite a ship. Um, and he'll kind of stare for a bit at the other vessels that are in, the decaying orbit, and he will say, I understand you're going to have to deal with the ships in orbit.
Yes, that's one of our primary objectives is making some decisions.
It all it all comes back to the observer and what he did to us there in the space. But we'll talk about that. Uh, I've asked my first officer to give your team on the surface a briefing on the populace because they have their work cut out for them. And I think I want to cut on that line, if I may. Uh, and I want to come down to a shot. We've got a nice painted backdrop of an alien world. It's kind of a rocky, semi-grassy plateau that we're on. Uh, we can see that there are a bunch of makeshift buildings that are very clearly converted and scrapped from shuttles and other ships. We can see there are a variety of designs there. We can see that in the background, there's some other downed ships and things like that. And there are people moving around. They've spent some time doing the makeup, getting the costumes for these people. And I think we cut to a building that has more of a kind of a old Earth sort of Terran look. You assume just that this is maybe a section that was cut out of the Mengzhou and brought down by shuttle that is kind of set up as a room here. And we see Chivilic, Taven, and a number of other people in the background. Like you two are center, but we know that there are science teams and medical teams and diplomatic teams that are kind of at disposal behind. And Lieutenant Merritt uh, is staring at Commander Chivilic. I'm sorry. I didn't expect one of the Andorian. I can't hear you, Jim.
I can't either.
There we go. Sorry, I had it's the button on the microphone.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So just a moment as a player,
Yeah.
Is this a is he a like an early Federation officer, or is
So
like Earth
if you look
United
at
Earth
here
Earth
at
Fleet or something like that?
yeah,
Yeah.
so go ahead and look at the NPC tab.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yep.
So she's young enough that you can guess that given what you've been told about how long they were gone, how long they perceived the time, which is just, you know, uh, decades, like
Yeah.
30, 40 years versus the 112 years they were gone, she's too young to have been on the ship. So she must have been born on the ship later. She's been told that she's the first, the command person. And of course, the Mengzhou left before the formation of the Federation
Yeah.
when
Okay.
there was still, the Andorians were still a hostile species.
Well, Lieutenant, prop more properly, I'm not actually an Andorian. I'm an Andorian human hybrid. My mother was Andorian. My father was a human. They met and fell in love while working together in a dilithium mining colony.
That and she clearly has a host of questions, and she stifles them.
And I wink and I say, "You're living in the future now."
Ah, ah, and uh, Commander Taven, um, are you the Vulcan observer for the Tempest?
Chief Medical Officer aboard the Tempest.
Oh,
Serving under our Terran captain.
okay. Um, so some of the advanced, I, I, I apologize. Let me try and bring you up to speed on the situation here. Um, uh, as you know, we were caught in this anomaly, the Mengzhou, before before I was born, along with a number of other vessels. There was a being who the different ships, different peoples have different names, but we always called him the Observer. Uh, he kept us there in stasis, in not stasis, but we couldn't escape. We provided our basic needs. Uh, he would, from time to time, do experiments. We had some interaction with the other ships. Uh, I know that there were ships of species that had been in the anomaly and had died out before we were even brought there. And that while originally, when the Mengzhou had been there, there had been 8 different species. There were 6 only left at the end. Um, the observer, and she kind of trails off. Uh, there's bad blood between some of the peoples, and she'll particularly look at the Endor you Chivilic, and will say there were times when we were put in competition. There were times when we were forced to fight. Uh,
Lieutenant, Lieutenant, I cannot tell you how deeply sorry we are that this happened to you. It's been a number of centuries since first contact between our species, and a lot's changed in that time. And I don't know if it's a comfort or not, but it's a big universe, and it's full of a lot of wondrous things and a lot of strange things. And you're not the first people we've encountered that something like this has happened to.
so there's our ship. As I understand it, the plan is for the 60 some people left on the Mengzhou for us to eventually be evacuated on the Tempest. Uh, the When the anomaly collapsed, we were given warning by the observer that it was going to happen. Uh, but of course, all of the races had scrapped their vessels to survive. Uh, uh, we were able to use shuttles and makeshift transports to come down to here. We were able to determine that this area on the planet is the one that is resource rich and viable for a settlement. So all all six of us came down, though only one of the ships crashed, and its people were killed. Uh, uh, but the five surviving are ourselves, the Andorians. I think that they're, from what I've seen, the largest contingent in terms of sheer numbers. Uh, the Talarians, uh, um, who are difficult. Uh, uh, they are patriarchal. Just to give you some insight on that, uh, the Shaddai are perhaps the least human looking. Uh, uh, they're the ones we have the least understanding of the communication with them. Uh, we can passively make ourselves understood back and forth, but we don't have full full linguistic communication with them. And I'll provide you with the notes that our social scientist had accumulated on her observations that may help you. Whatever their mode of engaging in communication, it is not purely verbal, but we don't understand the other dimensions of it. Or if it is purely verbal, we don't understand what's going on entirely with their language.
Lieutenant, translation technologies has come a long way since those early explorations, and I'm hoping that we can allow you to speak to each other clearly for the first time.
They definitively, of the five here, have the most advanced technology, and have made it clear that they believe that by virtue of that they have a greater right to. Right now, the large tension is about resources and who's in charge and survival and all of those things. And while the first few months we were here, things we were able to operate equitably. As time has gone on, the tensions have grown. Um, the last people are the Hezin. They are humanoid. Um, they they're fairly docile. Um, they are they're not matriarchal, but definitely there are more women amongst their number than men by a significant number. Um, uh, and the problem has been, and then she'll now turn to you, Taven, is uh, all of us have become sick. There is something that has affected all people present. Uh, it is a collection of symptoms: headaches, shakes, nausea, difficulty breathing. There are a variety of things. So far, we haven't been able to identify things, but again, some of our medical technology on all of our ships has declined over the years because the observer the observer would handle that to make sure that his experimental subjects remained viable. So I have told the leadership of the other groups that there is a medical team from our people, and again, she kind of trails off there. who will be helping them, and all of them have agreed to your assistance/intervention. Is there anything you need from us, Dr. Taven? Is it Dr. Taven or is it Commander? What's the proper title of address?
Lieutenant Commander
Lieutenant Commander
is my
Taven.
rank.
Okay.
Lieutenant Merritt, you mentioned that the observer had prior knowledge of the Anomalies' collapse. Do you know what became of them?
They told us that they were dying, but whether that was true or not, we don't know. But they told us that the Anomalies was going to collapse, and then it did. So that much at least we have as empirical evidence.
And
Of the 5 groups, are you aware of any that have suffered more from this illness?
Uh, I think that I haven't noticed that any of us have have particularly been more subject to it. But again, you have to understand that there's a certain amount of tension and secretiveness amongst the 5 groups. They if one is suffering more, they're not going to tell the others, quite honestly. I'm hoping that you can break through that.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, in your
Yeah.
estimation, Lieutenant, in your estimation, who's going to be the toughest nut to crack here?
Uh, the Shaddai, the community, the Shaddai have a certain arrogance. They're one of the oldest of the species. As I understand, they're long lived, and there are extreme difficulties in communicating with them. Uh, and then she stops. She goes, and the Andorians have historically been militant, violent, and hostile.
No offense taken.
Okay, I can only speak for the groups that we have interacted with. My 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 mother was killed in a duel with them, and they have lost people to us, and we have lost people to them.
Wait a minute. Your mother was killed in a formal duel?
And she goes, she clearly doesn't understand what you mean. She goes, the observer made us fight from time to time.
Hmm. Thank you for telling me that. I may be able to use that. Um, the Andorians, well, uh, I've read up on some of my family history, and I think that that might be useful to us. In the meantime, we're not going to force anything on you, uh, but unfortunately, this contagion means that we're going to be here together until we figure out what it is and what's happening. Um, in the meantime, um, Lieutenant Commander Taven, uh, I turned to Taven and I said, Lieutenant Commander Taven, I'm at your disposal for the time being. Let's let's take care of our hosts first.
I think that's a good idea. But Commander, we should be careful that if we treat one subgroup, the one or more of the other subgroups may feel slighted.
I'm confident that uh, if anyone takes offense, that we can handle that. I'm more concerned with people being sick than with people getting their feelings hurt.
I'll begin immediately.
Right.
And if word gets out that uh, if you do manage to work a miracle, which I know eventually you will, and word gets out, well, that's a incentive to come and see what's happening.
All right. So I want to cut away from this scene. When we come back to you, we're going to do the, medical extended tests. And then I also want to give Chivilic a chance to go and explore, meet people, start interactions, all of that kind of thing. If we want to have anybody secondary characters on that, we can do that. I want to cut back up to the ship. Uh, let's start with Tony, and then I want to come to Escara. So Tony, there are a couple of choices that you have in terms of what you would like Moreno to be doing here. You could go planet side and assist with the meeting with the different species and interacting and gathering information. Or you could set to on the couple of tasks that are involved in dealing with these ships that are in orbit. Uh, they are in a decaying orbit. They were just kind of dropped here. Uh, and a lot of them were already kind of scrapped or, things are pulled out. And there are some just broken ships that are there. So we've got wreckage and debris and ships. Plus, there's also the desire to, if they can rescue the Mengzhou,
That'd be
attack, that'd
pretty
be great.
nice, you know.
So there's
But
piloting, there's engineering, there's all kinds of tasks. So what would you like to do?
I think she's gonna stay in orbit because I
Okay,
have like an idea for a supporting character to go planet side. So,
sure. So what do you
um,
want to start with? Do we want to see you on the Mengzhou? Do we want to see you flying around the shuttle checking things out? Do we want to see a damage control
I think
team?
yeah, flying around in a shuttle with like a small group as we check things out.
Okay,
Um, she's probably like I think she's like mentoring Bailey. Like she's got him on the actual con while like, she's there mentoring,
okay.
supervising, as
Uh
the talent might be called.
yeah, I like it. Why don't we have you make a role here? I think right now, like it's less a question of structural engineering and more a question
Hmm.
of doing the scans to find out information, to like see if you can pick up on anything, all of that kind of stuff. So, how does control plus science sound to you?
I like that. Will
Okay.
astrophysics help?
No, I think this is more of a question of like sensors
Okay.
or sensor operations.
Gotcha. No problem. Gotcha.
We have no
Uh,
momentum in the pool. I have
no, we
eight
don't.
threat in the pool.
Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I'm just gonna roll flat.
Okay.
Which dice to use? One, two. That is two successes.
Two successes. So and I want you to imagine that sort of parallel to
And
that
yes.
briefing that I gave Chivelik and Taven, that you were also given the same briefing, kind of a version of it by uh, uh, the captain of the Mengzhou. So you have the same information, and you can see that you can identify that's the Andorian ship, that's the Mengzhou. This is what's clearly the ship of the Shaddai, and so on. Uh, and then there are five other ships that are in orbit that of designs you don't recognize, uh, that are there. And also clearly there was a bunch of debris and maybe even older broken up ships that got dumped out from the anomaly out into this orbit. Um, there are multiple leaking dangerous radiation, like sources up here, like cracked engines, toxic waste. It is a host of dangerous things here. What is your first question? I'm going to give you two questions.
All right. I feel like you already gave me the answer to that. So, what here is not what it appears to be.
One of the ships, uh, most of the ships are like their systems are down. They're scrapped out. One of the ships, like when they left, they actually locked the place up because there's a like a shield up.
Hmm. Okay.
That is the ship of the let me get the names here. The Hezen.
Okay. And what here is in the most danger?
There is one of the ships that's not from any of these six peoples that there is enough weird radioactive energy leaking from it that you are pretty certain the second that that ship hits the atmosphere and cracks further, you are going to have essentially a warp core breach that is going to fill the atmosphere with nasty stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So tell
Priority
me what that
one.
what do we see on screen? Well, in fact, this is one of the ships, not one of the six. What does this ship look like? This weird
Uh,
leaking ship. What's its shape or design?
I
What
th
inspiration for the designers did they take?
I think it's like uh purely cylindrical.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
and like, it's just got like lights around it,
like the
but
navigator
like
ship from Dune kind of thing.
sure.
Okay, sorry, it's fine.
It's okay. I was thinking like kind of like Babylon 5, but like, it's
Okay,
just very smooth all around. So it's just
sure.
like, okay, that's odd, but
Yeah,
I
I
was just
think
looking through like the old Spock visor thing
hmm
to
the weird
yeah.
oscilloscope thing that you get your head on
Yeah.
there. Okay. So what do we see you do? What are your orders here before we cut to
All
Captain
right.
Oscara?
My orders are Captain Scar's
Your
orders.
orders before we cut to Captain
Okay.
Oscara. What
Oh,
what are you
okay. Yeah,
telling
like
your team to do? What orders are you sending back to the ship? What are you
okay,
doing?
like priority one is this unidentified ship of, she's describing the make. We need to tow that out before we need to carefully tow that out of this orbit before a domino effect of disastrous results occurs.
Okay. Uh, so you kind of are getting an assessment. You know what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to do a structural assessment of that ship before you hit it with the towing beam.
Hmm.
Uh, and that either means doing a closer flyby and analysis or getting people on board in, exosuits to check out what the situation is on the ground. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. Captain Ascara, I I imagine this scene kind of begins with you sitting in your ready room with uh, our Captain Velasco. Um,
Hmm.
and again, you've been given all the briefing, you have all the information that we've given to everybody, and so on. He's kind of gone that, and he will finally kind of say, ah, and this is probably you've heard the report back in from Moreno. And he'll say, well, Captain, what would you have me do? What other questions can I answer for you?
Uh, Primary objectives are already underway. I am curious, Captain Velasco, if you could tell me a bit more, if you don't mind, about the Observer and your experiences.
From what we could determine, it was some kind of singular advanced life form uh, who had the power to rearrange matter, control space and time, affect things on a base level. It was unlike anything we'd ever seen or heard of. Uh, And I think for you, Ascar, you're flashing to records from the Enterprise of various omnipotent, godlike beings who've mucked with the ships there. But he's like,
Uh-huh.
it's completely unprecedented.
It
Um,
was maybe 100 years ago.
he brought us in. We were the last ship that was taken. Uh, there was a space, a physical space that he had manifested in the void of the anomaly that we came to call the arena. He would bring people, not like your transporter, like snap of the fingers and you were there kind of
Mm.
thing. Would bring them into that space, and sometimes he would just let us interact, and sometimes he it would set us to tasks. Uh, it never made any sense. There was never any rhyme or reason. There was a theory for a time that maybe there was we were in some kind of game, some kind of challenge that he was putting on for perhaps some weird audience, but that never seemed to be the case. It made no sense. The
He was always alone.
He was always alone. There were never others. And when he did come and tell us that the anomaly was going to collapse, he said that he was dying, and I believe him. I don't know if he was the last of his race, or God forbid there are more like him out there. I hope there's not a continuum of them out there just causing havoc in places.
What did he share? What killed him? Why he was dying?
No, no, he was vague. He told us to make preparations to get ready to go to a planet.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh,
Were you able to get any readings, anything that could give us an indication of his presence or
Everything we have
proximity?
is in
Okay.
the sensor logs of the Belasco, sorry, of the Mengzhou. Um,
Okay.
a lot of that's still left there. We took what was most vital to survival on planet side. That includes some data and information, but a greater deal of it is still left in the computer banks.
The Federation is very interested in recovering the Mengzhou.
It'll be a museum piece, won't it?
With honor.
I I gave field commissions to a dozen and a half young men and women who were born on the vessel over the years. We had a crew complement of 87 when we started. We're down to 60 now. I
Understandable.
I hope that their situation will be taken into account, that whatever service exists for this federation, that they will be taken care of.
I give you my word. If any of them are interested in serving on the Tempest, there will be a retraining period, but we will make room for them.
I just I would like to get back home. I'd like to see. I mean, is Buenos Aires still around?
Yes. It is, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not okay.
yeah.
No, I saw the expression from
Wait,
Joey.
wait,
Like,
no,
oh shit,
it's not Starship
I'm
Troopers where
like,
Buenos
I was
Aires
about
got
to
blown
say,
up.
because that's Starship Troopers. I can remember
Would
those
you like to
bits.
know
Yeah, I
more?
think Tony's from there, so, or from Argentina. So
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I think that the Breen destroyed San Francisco when they attacked. I think so. That's
yeah, and I think that's later too. Uh, I say, well, um, I would like to continue to explore and acquaint myself with this vessel, if you don't mind. This
Of course.
I
Let's
I
make it a working tour. I'd like to show you some of the historical records we have on the Mengzhou, and if you can point out areas of concern based off how things proceeded with you, and then I'll take him out and I'll show him some of more detailed parts of the Tempest, more interesting things of like, look at what this machine it goes ping. It's one of the most expensive in the med bay.
so I think part of what you're doing is you're trying to get information from him to maybe set up a trait for future, like to build that to make the job easier.
Mhm.
How about we do that with presence and command? This is you putting him
Sounds
at ease, working with him, eliciting the information.
okay. Presence command, that's a target number of 15.
Target number 15.
I do not wish to spend determination for this, so I'll
Okay.
just roll the 20. Two hits.
Two hits. So what do you want to call that? Like knowledge of the Mengzhou or captain's briefing or something
Ooh,
else?
I
What?
like Captain's briefing. I way
Okay.
gives Belasco a little bit of some props.
Put that in black and not red. I think he will perhaps have a cough for a little bit. He will say, I haven't been on air this climate controlled in a very long time.
That's cool.
And I think we cut away from that to sick bay. And I think we see a stasis chamber. And we see a figure held in the stasis chamber with that classic, the dun 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 board above them, but they're held down. And I think we see the hound who has been sedated from last episode, uh, kind of maybe take a deep breath in, shiver, and shake like they're coming awake despite the sedative. I also want to suggest that if you want to, when we come down to the planet, Taven Chivilik, if you want to bring in our scientist friends, Kazala or Dexter's daughter, feel free to grab onto them as science folks. Let's take our 10-minute break, and then let's come back and we'll go down to the planet again. So, Commander Chivilik, when we come down to the planet, we're going to come to defend and whatever medical triage thing is being set up. But what do we see you doing? Are you by yourself? Do you have others with you? What do we see? Like you are an information gatherer, a linguist, a diplomat, a negotiator. What is your approach to this? You've got a hotbed, multiple people, different desires, all of that kind of thing. Don't know everything about everything. What's your first step?
I mean, my first step, I think, is uh I I talk to the lieutenant and ask her, you know, like all of these different factions have different resources and stuff like that. Ask her what she's got that the Andorians don't have. Maybe apples, maybe Twinkies or something like that. Like what do you have that the Andorians don't have?
Okay. I think this is let's be a roll for this, I think.
Yeah, sure
I think
thing.
this is
Yeah.
insight plus command.
Okay.
I'm
Um,
even gonna let you use your diplomacy focus on this.
yeah, cool. I will 100% do that. And okay, so we don't have any momentum in the pool yet,
We don't.
but so I'm just going to be throwing 2 dice to start with here.
Yeah, but really good
Yeah.
odds.
And I think that's what I'll do. I'll just do the
So
2 dice. I
six,
don't need to mess
16
around with
slash
anything.
4.
Yep. All right. So here we go. 2 dice. Oh, no, wait. Sorry, I'm not 100% used to. Oh, I like the looks of that. That is 2 hits because I got that 4 there
Okay.
and just under creating complication for myself. So yeah.
So how about we do that as a trait, like a
Yeah, sure.
thing? What is it that the Mengzhou has that they've either, been able to cook on their thing, or they've been able to find here on the planet that they have that the Andorians don't?
I think what they've got, like it's it's gotta be like some kind of human, like very hardy but like semi-tropical fruit. And I think bananas would work great for that.
Okay.
They're incredibly hardy, and by this century, they're probably practically indestructible, disease-free. You can plant them, you know. Um,
So they like it's
they
probably one of the
store and
few
stuff like that. So
things
yeah,
that they had on the hydroponics level that they'd had
yeah,
kind of continuously going
yep,
there. Andorian needs. I'm going to put that as a thing
yeah.
here.
That's great. Yep.
Okay. So what do you want to do with that? What do we want to see you doing? More
I
information
think we
gathering, or
see.
is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think Chivilik's just gonna like walk to where the Andorians are. Um,
And as
and
you approach, they have probably
yeah,
seen you.
and I literally have like a little bunch of bananas I'm holding in one hand, and I'm just mm, 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 mm. Oh, this looked like this so delicious as I'm walking up towards them. Mm.
And they are in what you recognize as a deliberately provocative pose. They are, they are
I am
definitely,
Travilik. Oh, sorry. Finish up.
definitely established. You recognize these are pre-Federation Andorians. These are probably from, you're guessing, 130, 150 years ago. Uh, You're not sure why they would have been out in this space. You don't know much about that. Uh, but they will definitely, size you up. And this old Andorian uh, will kind of step forward and say, uh, "And what are you supposed to be?"
And I'm curious. Does he say it in like Galactic Standard, or do we see like
He
translated
says
from the Andorian
he says it
subtitles
in, yeah,
underneath?
full Andorian subtitles.
Yes, yeah, fantastic. And I say, and this is the first time we see Chivilik reel off some Andorian with the light blue subtitles underneath, and that's what
Right.
tells us that it's Andorian, right? And he says, I am supposed to be Chivilik of Clan Federation, and I claim hospitality under the ancient code of the Ushan. I have brought gifts, and I hold the bundle of bananas out to him. And if I can, I actually have a talent here
Yeah, let's take a
called
look at it.
diffuse the tension. Whenever you attempt a task to persuade someone not to resort to violence, the first D20 you purchase for that task is free.
Then this is absolutely that role. I think this is presence plus command again.
Yep, sounds good to me. And I feel like
It's definitely we're
we're
leaning
still
into
in
the balloon.
diplomacy here.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, all right.
So
And
3D20.
it's so 3D, yeah, because the first one that I buy
All
that's
right.
extra, I don't have to pay momentum for. So let's roll that and see what we got here.
So we've
Um,
got 3 successes,
3 hits, yeah.
difficulty 2.
Hmm.
So you've got one you can throw to ask a question, or you can put it in the momentum pool.
Oh, I'm gonna ask a question, and that
Okay.
is like
Yeah.
who is really in charge here?
Not this guy, even though you can tell from his dress and his uniform that he used to be in charge. There is a moment when he kind of turns that you can see the limp that he has, the favoring of the right side.
Yeah, somebody lost a
That
duel
that
at some point.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, and he will gesture, and you will see that there is a young Andorian woman there who is, dressed in the chainmail and and it's that kind of crimson chainmail with the leather surcoat and so on, who is very clearly in charge. And you can tell that this changeover, this is what I'm going to give you for the question here. This changeover is fairly recent. Not not since they landed on the planet, but clearly you would guess in the last year or two, just based on the dynamics you're reading of the situation of the people around here. And uh, you if you kind of make the request to speak, uh, he will he will take it and does not take it as an affront because of your success there. Does not read it as that. You are giving the correct deference, and he will bring you to the leader, and she will look and she will say, "What did you say your clan was?"
Plan Federation. It is, well, it's been a long time that you were held captive by that being. I have heard stories of uh, the resistance that you put up the entire time, uh, that you've comported yourself with honor, that you won victory in duels, and I've come to tell the tale of what has happened over the last centuries. What's it been? What do we say? It's been 150 years, something like
Yeah, let's
that?
say 150 years.
Yeah, sure. So I'll say I have I've come under, I've come um under our tradition of hospitality to relate to you the saga of the last century and a half.
I would like you to make a reason plus command roll here. I think this is kind of because you can see now the heraldry of this clan and so on. So let's have you make a roll for that. Then I'm going to answer that question or
Okay.
give you some information. Then I'm going to cut to Ven.
Yeah, sure. So, like I feel like my talent probably isn't necessarily coming in here. I'm
This is
not
more of a
necessarily like,
like remembering Andorian
oh,
history
sure.
kind of
Okay.
thing.
Oh, this is like kind of this kind
Yeah,
of telling
you
the
have yeah.
story and stuff.
This is
Okay. Oh, got it.
well,
Got it. Okay.
it's as much you're also getting a read on who they are, who their clan is in the telling here.
Got it. Okay. So I've got what do we got? I'm gonna spend my I'm gonna spend my determination for this because this
Okay,
feels really important to me.
all right.
This
So
is essentially
two
first contact
successes.
with these
Yeah,
people. And the Federation is my clan now, is one of my values, which
yeah.
feels like pretty much what I wrote the situation I wrote this for. So that's
Okay.
fantastic. So we got that, and I'm gonna throw two more.
We'll,
Oh, shoot. Sorry. What the heck?
we'll take that first one.
Yes, yeah, no, it
Yeah.
like on my screen, it just was going shake, 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 shake,
Oh,
shake, and it
okay.
wasn't rolling. And I clicked it again, and then they all of them rolled. So,
So yeah, you will communicate across to she will listen. She
yep.
listens respectfully. You've established that. I think that one of the things you will kind of start to put together is that there was a civil war period, various clan wars that went on about that time 150 years ago. And
Mhm.
the identification that they have given is the Keepers of Dishan. They are they were a militant, fanatical losers in the Civil War. Uh, you know, rebels against the Andorian establishment. And uh, for them, probably, you know, again, like the Mengzhou, for them, it's probably been just a couple of generations since they left that. So, like the eldest that you just spoke to remembers the rebellion and so on. Um, so I think you will definitely have the sense of that. But I think just to put that in context, she doesn't come out of the gate uh, immediately hostile on that point where you think that she could have. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, and I've got one more talent which is called cold reading.
Yeah.
When I succeed at a task during a social conflict, I generate one bonus momentum, which must be used for the obtain information momentum spend to gain knowledge about one of the people I'm interacting with. Basically, I get a free question.
Yeah.
Essentially,
So,
if I hit, then I get a free
and
question.
you've got it. You got the hit. So what's your
Uh,
question?
yeah, I think my question is um was she is she old enough?
No, she
Like
was she was born
how
clearly
young
she
is
was
she?
born
She
on
was
ship.
okay.
And she's not the youngest of the Andorians that you see here, but she's definitely amongst a younger cohort. And in fact, I think you can definitely see that there is a real age gap here that has gone on amongst the real old Andorians and then the young Andorians. Almost like there may have been a thing where at a certain point they decided that they had to like have kids and that was held off for a long while. So there's at
Yeah,
least,
yeah.
there is a significant gap there.
So here's my question, because this is Andoria, even though they got in a duel and she cut him and she's in charge now. Are those two related?
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
of course.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that seems fair.
Okay.
I'm going to cut away from you to Ven. To Ven, what do we see? What have you done to, set up this medical situation? Are you working in the Mengzhou space? Are you in another area? What do we see of you? Do you have a nursing staff with you? Like, you get all the cool stuff. So,
Yeah, so I think Tiven has set up a triage station outside of the Mengzhou camp, just
okay.
on the edge. Uh, more of a political statement than anything else. Um, and then I think she has, because you mentioned them, I think I want to have requisitioned Dr. Kazala and possibly Dr. Dexter's daughter
Okay.
to help set up some of the equipment while Tiven is working to scan individuals from the Mengzhou
Absolutely.
and start collecting diagnostic data. And I probably do have some other medical personnel down here, but they're acting in more of sort of a, if anybody needs a bed,
Yeah.
they're the people to take care of that.
As the chief medical officer, you kind of get a free medical team that you can always deploy to places. So that's kind of nice.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that there is a little bit of uh, certainly Dr. Dexter's daughter is she's willing to pitch in on this. You can see that
Hmm.
Kazala, this is not Kazala's area of expertise, and uh, he he this is a whole planet. He could be doing like meteorological exploration, things like that, but because we got to know what the weather is going to be like that is his forte. So he is begrudgingly assisting and helping on that side of things. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah. That's what I expected.
Uh, so let's have you make a roll here um, to get some basic information. And if you can ask some questions, and then actually dealing with the what is going on is going to be a more extended task. But let's start with this.
That's what I figured. So I do have diagnostic expertise as a focus.
Okay,
I also have a diagnostic expertise talent, but it relies on spending momentum, which we don't have any. So
that's true.
unfortunately, I can't use that. So I
Uh,
can't purchase any more dice for this. So it's just going to be 2 dice.
so reason plus medicine, it seems like.
So this will be a 15/5 with 2 dice.
Yeah,
Uh, 2 successes.
that's two successes. What is the first thing that you want to
No, it isn't.
know?
It's 1 success.
It's one success. That's all.
Hmm.
Uh, what is making this difficult?
Something about their time in the anomaly is making the equipment that we're using to scan these people not get proper readings.
Yeah, there
So as
definitely
we're getting
is.
data out of them, we're getting parts of the information that we would need, but some of it just doesn't come through.
Yeah, they were very clearly subjected to some kind of temporal distortion energy, and there is some of that is remaining and making this difficult. But you are going to get an answer to one of your questions. So what's your first big question that you want to know?
Mm. I want to know. I kind of want to get a sense for urgency. So, how lethal is this? How is it progressing in people?
So nothing so far has seemed lethal. It all seems like a cluster of debilitating symptoms. There are some people who have become feverish and have passed out for a time, but no one has died from it. No one has been incapacitated fully from it, but it's not flu-like, but it has that kind of perniciousness and affecting. It's it begins with a certain amount of weakness and headaches. There's a certain amount of shakiness and respiratory issues that go with this, and that seems to be what is going on there.
Hmm.
Uh, so is your goal for your like you get a couple of ways that I think you could approach this. You could approach as your extended task. I want to find something that is going to alleviate the symptoms, or I want to find out what's what's causing this, or I want to find out how is this affecting multiple different races? Like there are different approaches for the extended tasks. So what do you think?
I I did have a question about that, but it didn't seem the most pressing one. I am very keen to understand. All of these people with different biologies appear to be presenting with very similar symptoms, and that seems weird.
It does. That seems highly anomalous. But yes, you don't
Hmm.
know that much about like the Shaddai's biology, the Talarians and the Andorians. The Andorians you have a definite sense of. The Talarians you probably know the a little bit about the humanoids, but the other two, the Hezin and the Shaddai, you're not sure. So what do you think you want to make your chain of like work here?
I would like to get a scan from each of the 5 groups if I can. So I've got
Okay.
one from the Mengzhou. Um,
So your
Kivalek's
extended task
working
is
on the Andorians.
your extended task is going to be understanding the interactions of this with the alien physiology.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we're going to start with a reason plus medicine roll.
Okay.
And There would be normally some extra difficulty because these people don't necessarily want you to mess with them. But you've also got a tricorder,
Hmm.
and you've also got a medical team. So I think that I assume you were doing this a little bit on the down low, shall we say?
Hmm.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. Okay. So reason plus medicine is 15.5 again.
Yep. 15.5 with your infectious disease.
Give it again.
Look at you with
That's a lot better. That's
four
4 successes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
your medicine is a 5. So that means you will do 20 points on the track because essentially it well, it's sorry, it does 5 plus the additional successes. You've got 2 additional successes. You can
Hmm.
put that towards asking questions or pushing the track forward more or creating a trait or something else. What would you like to do? Or putting momentum in the pool?
I also have the backup plans talent, so I would have put a momentum in the pool when I failed the first one,
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe. Which we're already kind of working on the backup plan here.
Okay.
I think I just want to extend that track for the moment. I really want the answer
Okay.
to what is causing these.
All right. That will give you enough that you'll have a breakthrough.
Hmm.
What of the species of the 5 do you want to like understand what's going on with?
I think, given everything we know about all of these different factions, Taven would have tried to start with the Hezin
Okay.
because they seem the least likely to shoot her if they discover what she's doing.
The Hessian have a generally, it's not entirely uh, uh, close to human, but enough. Uh, uh, they are definitely being affected in the same way that the Federation people, Eve's gained and the Andorians and such. They're definitely suffering in that same way. One of the things, though, that you will realize about the Hezin is uh, they are heavily genetically modified. Like they are definitely a species that practices genetic modification. Uh, they also, you suspect that they are linked together with some kind of biocomputer. Like those sigils that are on them, you think may actually be like almost like another being that they're connected to. Um, that being, does seem like it's a biomechanical thing. It doesn't seem like it's affected by the disease, but they are definitely, they are affected by that. But you know, uh, they are with their genetic enhancements and so on. They are significantly stronger, faster, and more dangerous than they let on. And they are
Hmm.
very clearly concealing that. Does that seem like a reasonable piece of information for you?
Yeah.
And you are kind of working on, okay, what is the bio here? What is going on? Trying to figure that out. So I think, what does the montage look like that we see you working there?
So I think each of these different groups are kind of in a separate encampment, right? Is that
One big
so? I think,
encampment, but they have their own spaces and buildings that they've set up there and so on. Yeah. And of
yeah.
course, there's
So I
the
think,
wreckage of the 6th race that crashed is nearby too.
So I think we see to then scan a few of the people from Belasco's ship, from the Mengzhou, and is not making sense of any of the readings here, and looks over to see one of the other groups, and sort of mentions to Dr. Kazala that she's going to take a walk, and then finds a place where she can get
Must be
close
nice.
enough.
You get to go and walk around.
I'm so tempted to give the no, this one goes here, that one goes there. Uh, but yeah, we'll go and find a a place of relative concealment from where the Hezen are, and try and conduct some kind of scan. And perhaps because the audience needs to see that they're somehow stronger and faster and more dangerous than they let on, and that they're concealing it. I think one of them does something, uh, breaks something, or
Bends a
does something
steel
that just
thing and then bends it back in
exactly
place.
just seems superhuman, but they do it in a place where they don't believe they're being observed.
Like that's perfect. The other thing that you will see is that at some point, you will realize there is a group of Andorians, older Andorians, that are shadowing you. I think it's at that point that you will remember that the Andorians hate Vulcans at that period
Hmm.
of time, like hate them so much. And they haven't seen a Vulcan in years and years and years, so they're still trying to figure out if you're a Vulcan or something else. Um, they haven't like exactly twigged completely, but I'm just putting that out there as a threat that's on the table. All right.
Hmm.
Tony, let's cut back up to orbit. Where do we see you? What do we see you doing? Are you back on the Tempest? Are you exploring that ship? Are you doing something else? What do we see?
I think, yeah, we're exploring the ship.
Okay.
It took a while to figure out how to dock with this ship because unknown design. So it's like, all right.
Yeah.
But eventually
We get that
we,
bong sound like you're approaching V'ger when you come on to the thing, and we see find a space to join up onto it. What do the EVA suits look like?
oh, they're the big bulky white ones like in the movies, right?
Okay. You doing little spray things to move
Yeah.
you along.
Hmm.
So we'll see you floating
Yes.
through this. Uh, what do you want to roll to do the assessment of this? Is it more about you commanding the team that's doing the exploration, or is it something else? What do you think?
Um, Oof, what do I want to roll? I think, yeah, let's go with commanding the team.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. I think because this is not your area of expertise,
Yeah.
it is the science part of it is, but you really need to get a sense of what's going on. So describe to me like if we watch the montage of the team working, what do we see you setting them to do? How what do we see on screen?
All right. So like the cylindrical object, it's got like sort of we're looking like keep an eye out for any like patterns or lines. We need to uh break out the readers and find out like what's the along the side of it, like where's the be strongest readings coming
Okay.
through. So that's probably like a hatch that can open.
And you get inside, and I think we'll see. the large spider-like desiccated corpses of whatever race were in this vessel that have have long since died. You can get inside and start moving. Interiors is all rounded surfaces, like almost like tunnels through a thing. The everything seems to be like they must have actually kept their ships in zero G. Doesn't seem like there's anything that would have been gravatics. It all seems like that. And so, what is your team as they move back towards the thing to kind of assess anything else we see about them,
Uh, about
about
the
the team, about
desiccated
how they're
corpse.
operating, what they're doing? Are they scared? Are they
I think
excited?
like yeah, there's like someone's one of them's on their first away mission, and like you have the skills and training for this, but look, they're like, whoa, freaking out. I'm like, hey, calm down, Jenkins. You know, this is probably this might be the first and last time you see this specific species, but you know, you've got to keep your wits about you because who knows? We've done you've seen the readings, so I know it's tough, but there's time to talk about this later.
Excellent. So you've got, let's say, I think to find like locate the kind of the bulkhead or the internal space that you could conceivably tractor beam onto without this thing coming apart. I think that's we're going to say difficulty two for this.
Okay.
I think this is going to be reason plus command.
Okay. I'm going to, all right, teamwork makes for success. I'm leading a team, so I'm gonna spend
Okay.
that determination to add 4 to the momentum pool,
Okay.
and then I'll just spend one, so we'll be at 4 total.
3D20. You need 12s or less.
Yeah, my reason's not great. Pretty. It's will teaching help?
No, I don't think that's applicable here.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But I gotta try. I
Yeah,
gotta
no,
ask.
absolutely. You should always.
Oof. Oof. Well, there's 2 successes.
So
No, there's only 1 success
one
because
success.
it's not teaching. And there's that complication that you love. Where is my backup? Who's my supporting characters to assist me?
So, uh,
You've all failed me.
uh, well, I think we can make a reasonable case to lower the difficulty by one, given that you have a team with you, and
Oh,
that
okay.
that is a use of an object to create a trait here.
I'll take
So
it.
I will give you that. Um,
Thanks, Lo.
however,
Yes.
uh, you are going to have to, you're like, okay, we can lock on with the tractor beam, but we're going to have to do it soon. Like, you're like looking at the readings and coming in here and opening something up clearly changed the power profile on the vessel. And
Mm-hmm.
like the whatever the cracked engine is actually trying to start. So
Yep.
you need to get out of here and onto the shuttle and away, even as you're calling to the ship to tractor beam it. Uh, so let's say difficulty two, fitness plus security to get out of here. What is that? And what do we see on screen when you suddenly realize you need to get out now?
All right. Everybody, evacuate now. Get moving. And she's like taking up the rear in case anyone straggles, so she's got to like try and grab them and pull them along with.
Absolutely. Uh, as I said, Fitness plus security.
Skipper,
Difficulty
you need
2.
to get that tractor beam up and ready. That's there we go.
Two successes.
Okay.
So I think we will see you running. You're on the comms back to Ascara. Ascara, you're hearing Tony's breathing through the comms as they're running, and then hitting those to shoot down the tunnels to get back to the bulkhead. And there's that moment, Ascara, where they're like, "Captain, we've got it. We can lock it on, but they're not at the shuttle yet. Should we start towing now? What do you think, Captain?"
Start towing.
Okay, Moreno, you will get there. I think Bailey goes for the controls, but I think that you will jump in the seat. And what do you do? Like, what's the maneuver to get out of there and get clear?
I think I'm actually okay with Bailey doing the maneuver, but it's
Okay.
something like she's been teaching him, of like because there's a lot of debris that he's got to like
Yeah.
pilot through. So
So you are
he's doing
are
like a weird figure eight, like sort of like the S.
absolutely calling him the move, shouting, doing the turn as you pull away. And Ascara, Moreno has given you the order, and will grab on with the tractor beam,
Hmm.
and you know, punch to impulse to get this away from the planet. Uh, but I think Commander Scar, we're going to give you a scene, but I do want you to make a control plus command roll to make your
All
ship
right.
do what it needs to do here.
All right. I will do the thing. Command plus
Control.
control. Yeah, I'm pretty decent at this. So
You're going to
this is
get a
definitely
ship's
going to be
die, which is also
problematic.
going to be a 12 or less.
Oh, there we
And
go.
so
So
we do
three
have a
dice.
high-powered tractor beam and an improved impulse drive.
Yep.
Okay, that appears to be two successes. The third one's close, but no cigar.
What is the
Focus.
cool thing we see you do with the tractor beam? Is it is it like reversing the polarity to push it away? Is it you doing a spin to fling the thing off into space? Is it bouncing it off something else? Like, what is the hot shot maneuver you do to get this about to explode vessel away from the orbit with your tractor beam?
Ooh, yeah, I do think that uh, the idea of a quick impulse to twist, and it's just like it comes and we use its own force to redirect it and send it away from everything else.
And yeah, he will kind of fling it off and it will go away, and we will see that classic Star Trek explosion effect over the model there in space as that ship blows. And there's a moment where everybody holds their breath, and then we'll see the shuttle coming out of the explosion.
Oh, Tony, you okay?
It's just a little singe, Skipper.
As long as the shuttle, not you.
Skara, Uh, what would you like to be doing now? Are you coordinating with people on the planet to get more information? Are you working on assessing the debris in orbit? Are you over on the Mengzhou figuring out how to get it, intact out of the system? Like what are we going to see you doing, Captain's actions now?
I like the. Sorry, I just read a text thing that I wholly
So
agree
what
with.
is the name? What is the name of the shuttle that
It was the
Moreno is in?
Padre.
The Padre.
The Padre. Um, I'd like to be on the Mengzhou. I think could be fun and a neat set for us. Do you have to spin any threat for us to be on a different set? I'm just wondering if there's any way I can draw down some of that threat. That's all I'm after, really.
Oh, I can work on that if you'd like.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Uh,
Gotta get my hands dirty.
so you will beam over to the Mengzhou with Captain Belasco. Do you have a security team? Do you have an engineering team? Do you have a science team? Or is it just you and like a couple people to kind of,
Science team. Why would I need a security team? The Mengzhou's fine. Everything's fine. Science team. We're trying to figure stuff out. Engineering.
okay. So you've got an engineering team over there. And this is kind of heartbreaking because this is a classic old NX series ship. I imagine during your time at the Academy, you probably did like have a chance to go onto one of the other NX ships, the real pathfinders for the Federation, and you know, go around. But and this is one of those, but it is also like so much of it has been stripped and repurposed. There are panels that are open. There are sections that are empty. They stole as much as they could to take down to the surface while kind of leaving it intact. Um, let's have you make a roll, and I think this is again, we'll let you use your command, but I think it's command plus reason. You know,
All
getting
right.
your team to go, okay, what do we need to do here?
Well, it does look a bit run down and ramshackle. Ascara's attitude to this is fascination. He's asking questions of Belasco, like, "Oh, and how did you do this?" He's fascinated by their ingenuity and how they were able to thrive, well, survive and possibly thrive. So, uh, yeah, I think that is his approach. And so we're taking a look at reason plus command. Did you say?
Yeah.
Dang. All right. Hit me where I am not the best. This is good. This is good. I like it. I am gonna it's the 12 that I need, 12 or better,
Yeah.
lower, and I do not wish to spend determination on this. Sorry, I'm just trying to hold on to it because somebody's got 7 threat. Oh man, one solitary
One
success.
solitary success. So the advantage is that you got that captain's briefing, which takes the difficulty down to a 1 from a 2. That's the trait that you already established for that. Uh, so I think you can see it's going to take some work, like getting this into shape that it can move on its own. Like that's going to take some serious work. Uh, Even getting it in shape so that you can kind of tow it out of orbit
Mm-hmm.
uh, is going to be a problem because they have stripped out so much for it. So one of the choices you have now is where do you put your engineering teams on? Are you putting them on dealing with the rest of the debris? Are you doing or diffusing those things? Are you trying to like balance things out and put a team here, try and get this ship, you know, in shape to, you know, get it into a safe position before it would fall, you know, essentially into the atmosphere?
After what Tony just went through, Ascaras needs to prioritize the primary objective of making sure that this is safe, dealing with the debris, and the Mengzhou is a secondary objective. So
Okay.
dealing with the ships in the orbit, prevent them from causing ecological catastrophe is primary. So that is where he will deploy engineering crews.
Okay. I think that's a good decision. Hey, would you there's a moment there when you are on the Mengzhou, when
Mhm.
you would just get a splitting headache. But if you would add the trait, just a headache, to your character, I would appreciate that.
So put that in notes.
You see where it
No,
says
there's
traits? And we got
traits. There it
that
is.
little,
Yeah, just a
yeah.
headache. So I guess my character will not have sex with anyone. That's fine. Just get a little headache. That's fine.
Yeah. Uh, I think that maybe you've got uh Johnson with you. They'll say, Captain, are you all right?
I just there's something coming on. We don't think there are any particles here that could be problematic for people. Puts out this little, take a look at himself. Is there anything going on here to just get a weird headache?
Let's have you make a reason plus medicine roll.
Neat. I'm bad at that. I'm very bad at that. That's great. So, okay, everything's fine. No, it's not fine. How are you? Oh, that is a complication and a success.
So definitely your vitals are off a little, and then you start coughing. And
Okay.
then you will hear, Captain, we have a situation in Med Bay.
What's the situation?
Uh, we had a subject under sedation, the bioenhanced soldier that we were transporting.
The hound.
Uh, they seem to have shaken off the sedation and they've vanished into the ship.
Okay. Let's do another sweep of the environmentals here. Full band. I need to get back to the ship. Continue the work here.
All right. And I think we'll take our second break. Let's take 5, and then we will come back down to the planet. So we cut back to the planet side. Triage has gone on. Medical teams are moving. There's a little more interaction between the species. Now, definitely, we will see the Talarians have kind of come to check out like what's going on with the medical stuff. Uh, they they seem okay. They are put off by the presence of a woman in any kind of position of authority. But otherwise, they seem to be a little more focused on getting health treatments. I think the more standoffish are the Andorians and the Shaddai and the Hezin right now. But you've made some progress. You've got some answers to Ven. What do we want to see you doing now? Well, what's your next strategy here? Do you want to ask some questions before we work on moving the long-term project along, or something else?
So, for clarity, am I still away from the medical area and still being chased by Andorians, or have I managed to give them the slip
Oh,
and get back to
that's up to you. You know, if you want to have a scene with
the triage
Andorians, we
center?
can have a scene with Andorians. I
Yeah,
think
I'm just
when we
wondering if
last left off, they were still uncertain about whether you were a Vulcan or not.
so. I think Tivin wants to deliberately try and give them the slip because she wants them to scatter. She wants them to break up to try and find her again, so that she can try and isolate one.
Fitness plus security.
Fitness plus security. It's not great for me, but it's an 11. There's a 50-50 shot on it.
Absolutely. And there is some momentum in the momentum pool.
And I am going to spend one of those momentum to add a third die. This
Excellent.
is not Tivin's strong suit.
3d20, 11 or less. Wow, but 2 successes there. Because I don't
Yep.
think you have a focus in stealth, do you?
Nope. Nothing even close.
So yeah, I think you do see there's a handful of these older Andorians. They are trying not to draw too much attention, but they are trying to like figure it out. And I think there is a point at which they kind of lose touch of you, and there is some hushed discussion, and then they will split in different directions, and you can kind of flip the pursuer to the, pursuee pursuer relationship. What do you want to do with that?
I want to get close enough to one of them to scan them
Okay.
to kind of improve the progress on this long-term task here. Because I think I can get a scan of everyone else, but at the moment, getting an Andorian to come see me might be difficult.
That seems great. So let's have you do that with uh, reason plus medicine. If you'd failed the roll,
Okay,
I
and
would
can I
make you do it
use
with daring.
and can I do the can I apply my diagnostic
Oh,
expertise
absolutely. Yeah, you've
focus
got
here?
the focus for this. So it is definitely a 15/5.
Uh, how much progress is remaining on the clock?
Let's see. Right now, you've got 5 plus another 2 is you're at a 7 count out of 20.
Oof, a long way to go. All right, I am just going to roll it straight.
So that is 2 successes.
That's 2 successes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's 5 plus another 1 because you've got that Endorian needs thing out there as a trait that can be gone on. So you're at 13 out of 20 on this track. That is also a
Okay.
breakthrough. So what question or thing do you want to learn or establish from this next leg of the long-term project?
Uh, just going to fall back on the classic question. What should I be on the lookout for?
The Hezen are concealing. They're working very hard to conceal a whole another set of life signs. And I think that you will begin to realize that their ship may not be your standard sort of like space exploration kind of ship. They may have like a seed stasis generation ship that they've got
Ah,
probably some people in orbit, but also some people on the ground, meaning that their population is potentially significantly larger than they are letting on. And they are deliberately hiding that fact. How do you think you figure that out? Is it an anomaly on the reading? Is it something you see? What do you think that is?
yeah, I think there is something because this all sort of comes from attempting to scan one of the Andorians. I think there is some similarity between the scans, and there is something impacting the Andorian that was also present on the Hezen that we weren't able to get off any of the others. But how do we link that back to the fact that they're hiding another population?
I tell you what, I'm just going to spend a threat for my
Mm-hmm.
threat pool, and I will tell you something else that you'll realize that may give you some insight into this. You will realize that one of the Andorians and there may be more, but this is just the one that you've picked up, has that same biosign that the Hesin have, that infectious third-party biosoftware. And so they have been infected with whatever is joining up the Hesin together. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to say that does not sound good. That sounds
And that's why I
terrible.
spent a thread on it.
It sounds good to know that.
Chivilik,
Yeah.
while Taven is doing these investigations, you've made some diplomatic forays with the Andorians. You've kind of established a baseline there. Do you want to continue on with them? Do you want to interact with one of the other groups? What do we want to see you doing? Do you want to do something larger? How do we see you moving the diplomatic clock forward?
I mean, I think the thing that I want to do, I mean, part of like Abe is very explicit when he relates the story of how the Federation came together. That the Andorians were one of the five founding species of the Federation that uh um and that we're in it with that we're equals with humans and Tellarites and Vulcans. Yes, Vulcans. And the Vulcans explicitly invaded the Andorians because of their martial prowess, and value the Andorian contribution and everything. And so all this is going to take some getting used to. And yes, I understand, but this is the Andorians have spread across the galaxy like we always, uh, like some founder of one of the clans said that someday there would be, all the stars would be Andor or something like that. And so kind of lay it on a little bit thick.
Okay. So this
And
is,
yeah,
this is definitely, effectively, it's a social combat.
yeah.
It's a long-term project. So let's
Hmm.
kind of do this first. That's your opening gambit. That's your first thing. Let's start with that your attack. And this is resisted by their leadership.
Yep.
So I will roll for them, and then you can see what they're going to get. So let's see here. So I've got 3 successes. This is essentially, effectively, this youthful leader. They're they're trying to maintain command. They're listening to what you have to say. I mean, everything you've done as baseline has established has gotten you that they're willing to listen to you. The the Andorian needs has gotten you a seat at the table, has wiped away hostility. So let's do your trying to beat this difficulty 3 here to move that track forward.
And basically, I mean, the goal of this is to convince them that they should be acting in concert with the humans. We can worry about the others later, but that we've demonstrated that humans and Andorians, I in my very nature demonstrate that humans and Andorians can get along great.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm trying to convince them of.
You're going to
So,
get to re-roll one of your D20s,
yep.
and your impact on this normally would be a 4 for your command. It's going to be a 5 because of your special ability.
Yeah, because that bargain ability that I've
Yeah.
got. Yes, yeah, my bargain talent. So this normally just be I'd be 2 dice, right?
Two dice with your
Yeah.
presence plus command with the focus. Do you want to spend
We've got
momentum?
some momentum. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll buy a momentum. I'll buy an extra die with momentum here.
Okay.
So
It's
I'll toss 3.
16/4 with 3d20 you're rolling.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So
That's
you're going to get 3 successes.
hmm
So we're going to have the impact of 5, plus we throw another one in is an impact of 6. So you're about halfway in on this
and a complication.
complication. So I think that you will realize that you're making progress, but there's resistance here. And it takes you a bit to realize that one of the other young Andorians, who clearly has the ear of the leader, is very much like they are your roadblock. They are creating additional resistance. They they are definitely working against you in a strong way. And I think you kind of realize at the end of that sort of like, half day of negotiation, you're like, this guy, and let me give them a name, Orlas, Orolass. There's something up with him. You don't know, is he like actually an agent of one of the older Andorians or something? His behavior is feeling very odd to you. Does that seem like a reasonable thing?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're actually going to stop here. I think I want to stop here. I suspect, by the way, I've been kind of thinking about this, that this may be a mission that actually is going to take us 3 sessions rather than 2. So I just want to tell you, I'm going to give it room to brief. If we get it wrapped next time, that's fine. But we've also got a lot of cool things that everybody can do. So I want to give it potentially room to breathe on that. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
And then that would and we also we're noting that we're not playing on the 12th. I've taken that out of the calendar since I know that Mike and Rich would potentially be traveling or coming back from traveling on those days. So that's what we're going to do. And I think that the button for the episode is a shot of the Hound moving through the Jeffries tubes. We see them moving through, and we see them looking feverish, and we see them stop and reach up to their head like they have just a headache. And then they put their hands down and they continue on. And that's going to be the end of our episode. Let's do a quick stars and wishes. Mike, can I start with you?
Yeah, sure. This is really fun as always. I did have stars for Jolene. The line of "We need to tow the ship before a domino effect of disaster occurs" was
Great.
I really like domino effect of disaster, and also the description of escaping the cylinder and shouting at everybody, "We need to get out now." That was very evocative. Um, for which I loved the line, "The Mengzhou is fine. What do we need a security team for?" That's
Yeah.
surely. And also just faking a cough when you started to get sick. I love seeing Ascara maintain composure under pressure is always fun. For Jim bringing bananas to the Andorians and claiming guest right, that was just a
Yeah.
beautiful moment. And then immediately figuring out the group's dynamics of the Andorians to go like, this guy that's talking, they're not in charge. Um, Lol, I had a star for this is just a deliciously complex scenario with lots of moving parts, and I did have in the star this might be a two-parter from a TV show perspective, which makes it a four-parter for us, but
Mhm.
we'll see if we can clean it up in 3. And at some point, I just had this vision of you planning a session, like setting up a game of Kaplunk, like just putting all the all the noodles in and then dropping in the marbles. And yeah, it feels like the marbles have started to drop. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Awesome.
I
Anything
don't think I have
wishes?
specific wishes.
Okay.
I feel like all of the things I would have as wishes are already set up and are likely to happen. So, and I did just want to start the having the hound roam around the Tempest is
Yeah,
just one more complication on the stack of complications.
absolutely. Essentially,
It's
we're going to
great.
have to definitely have the dun 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 Ascara fighting the
Yeah, yeah,
hound, you know, doing the
yeah.
two-handed fist, axe fist there.
Hmm.
Ascara.
Uh, Stars all around. Really enjoyed everybody's portrayals. It was fun to see folks succeed. Really I appreciate, Lowell, that you took the feedback of, hey, Chivila should do some negotiating and putting him in the very awkward situation of and Andorians who and harking back to pre-Federation was really fun juxtaposition there. Really liked the Tavin exploration and super thankful for the it was mentioned in chat, but just to say it aloud, the PBTA questions that we have access to. I know there's the just ask whatever question you want. I'm like, God, yeah, sure. But thanks for that blank page. Having some suggestions is super helpful. Love Tony being the dashing. It felt very uh fire at will. Like Tony's going to go out and navigate the things and do the dangerous stuff. I also liked Jillian, your choice to have a green recruit that you were training and showing. I think that's a really neat aspect to Tony that she's the kind of number one who is constantly trying to lift up people around her. I think that's really, really cool. Lowell, very excited. I have to say, when we start off and it's like five factions, I was like, oh my God, this is like the later Spider-Man movies.
Uh,
Too many things. But I was wrong, and I should have more faith. And I'm super interested in where things are going. Yeah, if this is three sessions, so be it. I'm here for it, having a good time. Wishes, um, I don't know, kind of a wish. Like I felt, we were all four separate things, and
hmm
nobody pulled any supporting characters in, so it felt very past the sticky. And I would like to have other players all up in other business, even if they're not playing their primary character. And I know that's not really a you thing, Lowell, that's an
No,
us
but that
thing.
that I think that actually is a good thing, especially now that we've got the groundwork laid. We kind of know what the tasks are. We know what's going on. I think now is the real opportunity in session 2 and 3 to start bringing the supporting characters and putting them into play. I think that's a really good point.
But sorry, I forgot to mention this one. My number one star is number one. Have the primary and secondary objectives written out and being able to reference it. When you asked me what I do, I didn't feel lost. I was able to go, okay, we got this doing that, this person doing that, this doing that. I felt a little captainy to go, all right, I can drop down to the secondary objectives because I've got folks on all the primaries. That was really, really helpful. The
Okay.
background, all of that. Appreciate that extra work. I crave it, and now I demand it. That's my
Okay.
wish. I
No,
want that from
I'm glad
more.
that worked. It was a real experiment for me to kind of write that out all out beforehand, and I'm glad I did. It felt like it was necessary, and I'm glad it was useful.
Yeah, like running a that's one of the things about Star Trek as an RPG that is challenging for me. I don't come from a military background, and the Federation
Your
has
dad was a drill
military
sergeant.
structure. I don't have military. My dad was a sergeant in the Marine Corps, absolutely, and I was raised with that culture, but not with the actual
Right.
like this is what you do. Just the like I am judging you harshly. That's all I got. And don't fail. But so having those touchstones are super duper helpful. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Jolene Moreno.
Yeah, also a big star to like having being able to reference the mission objective and stuff is really good. I I'm curious to see how that works with like some of like the more B plot episodes, I guess, but bridge we'll cross that bridge when we need to. Uh I love seeing Chivilic is like, oh yeah, no, I know how to deal with my people. Oh, you want me to negotiate with my people? Yeah, no, I know how to deal with this. And Taven just been like, oh, Andorians. Oh right, they hate me. And I liked Edwin's dealings. Yeah, like Edwin going over yeah, this is fine. It's just a headache. It's just a little cough. It's just, you know, uh, nah, this isn't priority. We got to deal with the other stuff first. Wishes wise, like Rich said, like we felt too isolated. And like I had a secondary before this tonight even started, I was like, oh, I know exactly what secondary character I want to create to play. And then like the way Jim described his stuff, I'm like, my lady's gonna be perfect to go on that away mission because like they'll just like fun. I love that because it keeps the players interacting with each other. And
Yeah,
again, like
we'll
that's
bring that person in next time if it still
yeah, I
fits. Yeah,
wasn't sure if that's like do you does the is it on the player to suggest, hey, can I create a secondary character for this scene or not? I never know if that's
my
stepping on the
feeling
primary character's
is to say to the
toes.
person who seems to be in the scene, hey, would you like me to bring a secondary character? Here's what I've been thinking. And everybody should also feel like no, I kind of want to do this myself. They should feel free to do that, but you should feel
Yeah.
free to ask. Yeah, I think
Okay,
that's the
cool.
way we should aim to play that.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah.
And Jim,
Yeah, this was super fun. I'm really enjoying it. Kind of reiterating how much I love having the objectives there, because for the most part, like none of the Trek shows really hide the ball in terms of like
right?
what the episode is going to be about. And if there's like a tilt where it turns out, oh, it's not actually a medical mission, it's terrorists attack the, whatever, like teleporting terrorists attack the Enterprise, then that would happen for us the same way. We would still have the objective. It's just, oh, suddenly there's this other thing we need to deal with. And I love that. I love having it just spelled out for us. And I think that's fantastic. Also, big star for, I know Rich said that thing about like there being five factions, but like the fact that we know at least a couple of those factions really well like slots them in. Like we know what the general deal with humans is in Star Trek. We know what the general deal with the Andorians is in Star Trek. And we've got a couple of new alien races that we got to figure out what's going on with them. But like I never felt this like I really felt like we had the option. Like we could go wherever we wanted. That if I had said, I'll deal with the end, it'll take me 10 minutes to win over the Andorians. I'm going to go talk to these people we've never met before, that would have worked out fine too. And so I really like I like the complexity feels manageable in this to me. And I like that we could go a couple different directions of it, but it's all going to eventually lead to the same place. Love that. Uh, Mike, I like your that like Tiven's life was potentially in danger, but she's not like, oh no, they're going to stab me. She's like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to get one of them alone so I can scan them, which is like so Vulcan.
Hmm.
Just like that was just awesome. Um, uh, Rich, at the beginning, and you remind us constantly that like Captain Ascara is kind. He's a kind man, and his discussion with that with the the kind of proto Starfleet officer with that human officer like just radiated kindness, sympathy for his situation, accommodation of his wonder and all that kind of stuff. And just I love that about Ascara, and it just comes through very clearly in the way that you portray him, and that like that is why people follow Ascara.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's coming out in Ascara. Different. They follow different people for different reasons. Kirk because he's bold, and Picard because he's smart, and Janeway because she's tenacious. But like we follow Ascara because he's kind. I think, and I really love that came out today. Very much so. And Jolene, just yeah, Moreno is the action hero of the gang, and I really like that. The um, just kind of. And I love that, like, when Rich asked you for a starship design, you're like, basic, like a model that they could throw together in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like a cardboard tube that they painted silver and put some lights on it, and then, like, which is just like, that's a very classic Trek sort of a thing. So I really love that. Wishes, um, uh, like, it's me and a bunch of 150-year-old Andorians. I'm getting in a knife fight with someone,
Absolutely.
and I'm pretty sure I know who it might
I'm
be.
pretty sure I gave you somebody to duel there.
but I'm getting in a knife fight with someone.
Absolutely.
So
We're going to have
is one of my wishes.
that fight
Yeah.
music breakout. Da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
And yeah, and the other is and the other wish is that that we get some that we have a reason for maybe for some people to go back and forth. And not like necessarily me and Taven to be on the planet for the entire time,
I
and the
think
captain
certainly
and
that
Lorraine
the
want to be on the ship
Hound,
for the entire time and
yeah,
stuff. Yes, yeah,
may be a good reason
exactly.
and stuff.
And then maybe there's a little back and forth. Yeah, and I'm also champing at the bit to play some of those secondary characters. So
Yeah.
I'll add my voice too. I actually do kind of like we do our establishing scenes individually, and it just happened in this episode that those establishing scenes were individual scenes and not like we're both going to a meeting or a in a shuttlecraft together or something like that.
Yeah,
And
I
then
was
we
very
introduce
conscious
secondary
that
characters. Yes.
we were going to start that
Mhm.
way in a
Yeah.
very next gen way. So I think
Yep.
it worked.
Yep.
Awesome.
Worked for me. Yeah. So this is great. I'm having a great.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm going to stop the recording.